the piazza. It's time to flip some pancakes.
You're listening to Tux Tuesdays on your student radio station at the MaRaWthon 2015. The setup is quite incredible because we have James, Amy, Greer and Josh all about to make a combined effort to make pancakes because it is Shrove Tuesdays on Tux Tuesday and the scenes are electric, as is the hob that we're going to be using. We're live in the piazza in support of Scope, a disability awareness charity, which is why we're out here for 100 hours. We're finishing in more than 50 hours time. We're going to be here for ages, but hopefully not right here because pancakes are going to be devoured very soon. The process of making the pancakes is very simple. I've got James alongside me. Now, how are you going to make the pancakes, James?
Well, I'm going to be breaking the eggs, putting the flour in, putting the milk, and then passing it over to Amy.
And Amy, what do? You're holding an instrument in your hand.
I'm going to whisk the pancakes. I'll be whisking the pancakes and then giving them to Josh, who will be... What will you be doing, Josh?
I'm going to be tossing the pancakes and then making sure both sides are nicely cooked. If I go terribly wrong and I don't properly do it, Greer's going to have a go.
Okay, very good.
Are you going to do a proper toss?
I'm going to do a proper toss. I'm going to get the pan moving. I'm going to get it all spinning around and then float it in the air and try and catch it. Fingers crossed it goes well, but I'm not quite sure.
My job really is just to be supervisor and then I get to eat them at the end, so I think I've got the best job.
Okay, very good, chaps. So we're going to get underway with the pancakes, and James has the flour in his hands. And what he's going to do is going to put the flour into the bowl, about 2/3 of the flour. And how's that looking, James?
Good. Very floury.
Very floury. And the idea of this is that once the flour is sort of in a level basis, 2/3 or so, he's making a well with his hands in the middle, in which he will be putting 2 eggs. And so what he's doing right now, he's taking one of the eggs from the basket. Whack it, James. Oh dear. I think egg cracking techniques have a lot to be desired today. But still, so at the minute James is cracking the eggs on the side of the... Oh dear. James has missed the bowl whilst cracking the egg, and he's landed it on the bench in a minute. Amy has just managed to crack a perfect egg, and so right now they are whisking away the eggs and the flour mix. James has the milk in his hand, and he is right now undoing the top of the milk. He's pouring about 2/3 or so into the bowl and the mix. It is quite possible that the egg that was missed and landed on the bench will end up being more pancakey than the mix inside. But we live in hope. So James is right now pouring in the milk into the bowl, where Amy has quite a job on her hands, trying to make sure that she can get everything all into the bowl. The whisk, it needs about 2/3 of the milk that's in the milk carton. I wouldn't put it all in, as Amy is suggesting. So at the minute it is quite liquidy, it's fair to say, but hopefully when it's all together it'll end up smooth, lumpless and ready for frying. It's looking in the minute, clumping together. It is very porridgey shape at the minute. Whether this will be a lumpless pancake is maybe a step too far, maybe a hope, maybe a dream, but it's something we can all live for.
Like I say, if the tossing in the frying pan doesn't go quite well, it wasn't my fault looking at this mixture.
So things at the minute.
It was your fault. We've got a lovely egg on the blanket/work area that Jarvis wasn't able to crack into the actual bowl. Saying that, it's coming together quite nicely, isn't it, Phil?
So at the minute, the dough is becoming much more elasticated now. I think the whipping action through Amy and the whisk have been doing very well indeed.
You've got some great wrist action there, Amy.
Compliments all around there to Amy and the dough in the bowl. Dough in the bowl is now actually much more lumpless than it was before.
More milk, though.
So we're putting in a little bit more milk to ease the mixture going through. And
this towel's gonna have to have another wash. Seriously.
So once Amy has finished with the dough mix, we'll put a bit of pan into some of the. They'll be putting the butter into
Put the butter
pan.
in it. Is that my job?
Okay, so now the dough mixture is done. What Greer will do now is put one item of butter into the pan and let it melt and sort of just spread around for an even coating. So she'll help spread the butter around for an even coating. She's more than
Thank you, Philip, for saying that twice. I'm just waiting for it to melt, actually.
And then that will go around making sure the edges are all clear, and it goes around the sides as well, because you always need to make sure that it's well lubricated, so then you make sure that when any, I guess, tossing happens, you're all set and there's nothing sticky.
How's my lubricating action?
Greer,
Just to clarify, for all the pancake enthusiasts, you've got to make sure your pan is well lubricated before tossing it.
okay.
It's the act of lubrication, not greasing. That is Delia Smith approved, we hope.
And so the pan is almost ready to go, and when the butter starts to melt, as it has and is doing, we're going to probably pour in the first part of the batter mix, but only just a little bit, because remember, pancakes are nice and thin. And as soon as the dough goes in, give it a nice mix. Use this one. You'll need to, because of the type of hob, it needs to stay on the hob. The pan needs to stay on the hob because of what we have, and hopefully the dough mix will spread around. It's fair to say that the type of pancake mix that we might end up doing is less thin and more like.
This is the thickest pancake I've ever seen in my
American
life.
style pancake.
Yeah, but a whole huge, massive one.
In doing so, we're waiting for that to go. We must make sure that the pan is on the hob at all times whilst it's keeping cooking.
Greer's just flicked pancake up at our cameraman Rob.
And they're keeping going. Now we are just waiting for the mixture just to start cooking. It's already going around the edges because it is quite thick. There's quite a lot of the dough mixture on the hob itself. It's like waiting for an omelette to cook or scrambled eggs. So you've got the sides starting to sort of clump together and form a good edge. And then when the main coating on the inside gets done, we'll hand over to our resident people to do the flipping.
Are these technical terms, Phil?
Quite possibly.
Quite possibly.
So,
Just an update on this pancake. The bottom seems to be cooking off nicely, but there's literally like 2 centimetres thick of dough. Is it dough? Batter going on. Might as well be dough. Might as well be a pizza or an omelette. If anyone's got any cheese, bring that over. I mean, guys, it smells really eggy. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was something with the towel egg, but it doesn't smell great.
so at the minute, if what Greer is going to do is going to peel back the side of the batter mix just to see how it's doing on the underside, because if we know that the underside is starting to sort of form steadily, well, it's breaking apart a bit, so maybe
It needs a bit more heat still. I think we've got to leave it on here for a little while with the amount that we've put on.
I feel we may have followed the famous raw sport tradition of cooking something without any kind of discernible instructions whatsoever. Do we have a recipe?
Gave the instructions.
So with the batter mix, it's currently about 1 centimetre thick, and if you think of normal pancakes that you have in your home or that you just have in your general life on Pancake Day, they're generally quite thin. But this, with almost 1 centimetre or so of batter thickness,
It's a comprehensive pancake.
things.
Tim, smell this pancake. Tell me if it's weird.
I'm going to smell the pancake with my best MasterChef smelling ability. Okay, that smells more like an omelette, but I have I have faith in the nature of Pancake Day. I believe in Delia Smith and her ability to channel her recipes through our pancakes, and most looking all right.
I feel like we've offended Delia Smith if she's watching or listening, to be honest.
It's tossing time.
Okay, so the pancake as it stands is generally cooked on the underside, or at least it's starting to brown just a little bit. The pan is now being taken by our resident flipper person. Josh has. How are you feeling ahead of the flipping, Josh?
This could
I'm
go.
feeling ready to flip it. A little bit anticipatory. nervous.
This
Made
could
up
go
words.
horribly wrong.
So Josh has got the frying pan in his hand, and he's going to go. On my mark, please, Josh. I'm going to say...
Can I just apologise if I do actually just mistime it and just let it go all on the floor?
Disastrous pancake flipping accident kills 100 on Warwick Piazza.
So Josh is going to flip the pancake in 3, 2, 1.
Hey!
Very nicely done. And
There
as
was a
you...
lot of pancake residue that flew out. That does look like an omelette.
So-
Amy, just pat it down.
The batter mix, as it stands,
I don't want
is
to be the eater
fairly,
of this anymore.
is
I think I might
brown, on the edge. It's a little, almost crispy.
Don't poke
It's
it.
looking fairly good, and so they're keeping going.
Definitely not a crepe. No.
And so Amy's just doing the last bit of cooking onto the pan, just to make sure we get the underside cooked as well, and then it will be served, presumably.
I had about 10 pancakes for breakfast.
Which,
I've only needed one.
so you don't fancy having a bit of this one then?
I do, yes.
You do? Oh, you didn't see how much eggshell went in it though. Okay.
So at the minute, if you're
Crunchy pancake. Delicious crunchy pancake.
Definitely, new thing.
listening.
12:51 a.m.
This is
12:51 a.m. It's crunchy pancake.
You're listening to Tux Tuesdays at the MaRaWthon 2015, and the pancake has almost cooked. We're getting ready to serve it on the piece of kitchen roll, which is being laid on the bench.
Very
and
classic
this has
kitchen
been
roll.
homemade, entirely from scratch. We've got all the ingredients. And we took the pan onto the piazza. Essentially, we are having pancakes for Scope, which is a disability awareness charity, which helps more than 250,000 people, more than 250,000 disabled people and their families throughout the UK.
Java's
So,
currently
Amy-
tried to move the broken egg that we put on the towel off the table by using some of the kitchen roll as well. It looks disgusting. It's not really helped. He's just ran over to a bin with just an eggy hand. So
Really not ready. It's war on the inside.
Hashtag pancake piazza peril. The shattered eggs on the table, hopefully not reflecting the shattered dreams of all the culinary icons out there. We hope.
The pancake mix is currently keeping going. It looks almost, from this angle, a bit like a pita bread of sorts.
Bread maybe.
it's actually really hard. I don't know what we've done wrong.
I feel like, Phil, we should clarify what we're actually doing here as opposed to just making pancakes with foam, because we are here for charity, right?
We're keeping going. At the minute, Greer is attending the thing that was formerly known as a pancake, and is
pancake.
patting it down.
It's really raw on the bottom. We're gonna have to turn the heat up to maximum.
So we're going to increase the heat a little bit on the hob, just to give it a little bit more.
Is this degrees centigrade on here? It's now currently 240. Is that good? Phillip is jumping around like that's a bad thing. I don't think we'd be doing well on the D&V that he uses this cooker on every other occasion.
Does anyone know how to make a pancake on the piazza? We need desperate help right now.
Yes. So at the minute, the pan is going to be getting incredibly hot, more so than it is already, and
Can I just chip in? This is going really well.
It could have been much better, Joe. It could have been much better.
We're christening this pancake Titanic. Maybe an ambition. Could still work out, I think. It's looking comprehensive at the very least.
Greer just lifted up the other side of the pancakes. What did you think of that after you just had a look?
It's still not as brown as we kind of hoped it to. It's also breaking up in half. It's quite thick, so it's just breaking now.
I'd serve that one and cut that one up in 5 minutes, segment, and do another one.
What we may have done here is invented a new dish. It's not quite a pancake. It's not quite an omelette. It's a pomlet is what it is.
So what Greer's going to do now, she decides she's going to flip it. So Greer, on the count of 3, if you'd like to please flip the pancake.
3,
2, 1.
Oh, hey, it works. Sorry, Delia, we're so sorry.
bits of pancake were as previous, flying over. The pancake is being decreed as done, and we're going to serve it right now. The pancake we're going to serve the pancake right now on Tux Tuesdays, live at the MaRaWthon 2015, upon our kitchen paper on the bench in the piazza. As it gets served, a bit of a break off, but it's generally fairly solid. We are now going to adorn it with a traditional dressing.
You could almost class that as a scone.
I've seen worse outside Casbah on a Friday night.
So we're going to dress it traditionally with a squeeze of lemon and just a sprinkle of sugar.
Yeah, which is more of a handful of sugar now, which is being spatulaed out.
So we're going to get going on the next one. We need a chief taster as more lemon is drizzled onto the top. Greer is going to try the inaugural tasting. How would you describe it as looking, Greer?
Mildly edible. That's all I can say.
So, Greer,
it looks a little bit like a frisbee covered in sugar.
Is it an ultimate frisbee though? It's almost like a pita bread.
So what Greer's doing now is rolling up the pancake. She's going to cut a little bit off, which may be the wiser choice. Here on your student radio station is almost pizza-esque, getting a little slice, maybe if not rolling it up altogether.
Strong Italian community at work. I'm sure they'll appreciate this new twist actually on the culinary scene of pancake.
So it's being cut up in two bits, and Amy and Greer are going to eat it after 3. So
I've lost a bit, hang on.
As part of the bits breaking off. So 3, 2, 1.
My mum would make about
Marks out of 10.
a gallon of batter.
It's actually quite nice.
Yeah, it's actually quite nice.
From Delia to disaster, how do you rate it?
I would actually eat the whole thing.
Definitely Delia.
Yeah, it's good.
Delia approved.
Very nice. So we have just made pancakes here on your student radio station as part of Tux Tuesdays on Shrove Tuesday at the MaRaWthon 2015, live and outside in the piazza. It's back to Joe now on the desk.